We're halfway through 2026, and the great games just keep on coming. From independent titles to AAA games, there are many games with a chance to snag some nomination slots for the 2026 Game Awards. Today, we're taking a look at the ones that came out in the second quarter of 2026 to see which games have a shot of a nomination, including for the Game of the Year category. This is the Game Awards Nominee Watch. Starting off with the debut indie games, we have Mouse P.I. for Hire, the debut game from Polish studio Fumi Games. This first-person shooter starring Troy Baker as Private Eye Jack Pepper is known for its old-timey cartoon aesthetic and for its gameplay being reminiscent of classic shooters like Quake and Doom. And with its solid review scores and sales, Mouse P.I. for Hire should be a lock for the best debut indie game category. The next debut indie game is Replaced from Belarusian studio Sad Cat Studios. This gritty action platformer set in a dystopian 80s version of America was originally announced in 2021, but it faced several delays due to the ongoing Ukraine-Russia war. But now that it's finally out with praise for its setting, visual design, and platforming action, expect to see Replaced here in the best debut indie game category as well. Moving into the overall independent game category, we have Mixtape from developer Beethoven and Dinosaur. This short 3-hour story-heavy game set in the 90s resonated well with reviewers, evoking the 90s nostalgia and becoming one of the highest rated independent games of the year so far. Mixtape is a near lock for the best independent game category, along with the possibility of getting a best narrative nomination as well. Racing into the best sports racing category, we have Forza Horizon 6 from Playground Games. This Japan-inspired edition of the legendary open-world racing series is the highest rated game of the year so far, with high praise for its world design, feel for driving, and sound design. Forza has historically dominated the sports racing category, with 5 previous wins between the Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport sub-series, so expect Forza Horizon 6 to not just be a lock for the category, but for it to win as well. As racing games typically don't get nominated for Game of the Year, don't be surprised to see Forza Horizon 6 miss the GOTY nomination despite its high review scores. Instead, you should expect to see it get nominations in several other categories such as Best Audio Design and Innovation in Accessibility. For the Best Ongoing Game category, we have Diablo 4 for its Lord of Hatred expansion. As the 2024 where Diablo 4 was nominated for its Vessel of Hatred expansion, Lord of Hatred has received even better reception than its predecessor, with its 8 to 10 hour runtime providing new classes, customization options, and a satisfying conclusion to the Diablo 4 plot. So don't be surprised to see it here in the Best Ongoing Game category. In the Best Fighting Game category, we have Invincible Versus, the fighting game based on the Invincible TV and comic series. This 3v3 tag team fighting game from developer Quarter Up, which is composed of former developers of Killer Instinct, has been praised by the fighting game community for its tight combat and competitive balance. Invincible Versus is guaranteed to get a Best Fighting Game nomination to kick off this year's abnormally competitive fighting game category. Next up is Zero Parades for Dead Spies for Best Role-Playing Game from Zom. This game focuses heavily on its narrative, managing branching dialogue trees and skill management just like Zom's last game Disco Elysium, which went on to win 4 awards at the 2019 Game Awards. With its solid reception and a minor assist from Fable's delay into 2027, Zero Parades for Dead Spies is very likely to get that Best RPG nomination, along with solid chances at nominations for Best Independent Game and Best Narrative. Moving into the Best Family Game category, we have LEGO Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight. This game shakes up the LEGO game format, being much more derivative of the Arkham Knight action series with its combat, while still maintaining the LEGO series' traditional puzzles, comedy, and collectathon aspects. This game has had great reception, with it being the highest rated LEGO game ever, and has the potential to invade Nintendo's Best Family Game category. Speaking of Nintendo, we're kicking off the Nintendo segment with Yoshi and the Mysterious Book as a Best Family Game contender. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book returns to more of its puzzle and platforming roots, and with Nintendo's traditional dominance of the family game category, along with previous Yoshi games getting nominations in the past, like Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi's Crafted World, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book will likely continue the trend of being the next Yoshi game to get a Family Game nomination. Next up in the Best Sim Strategy Game category is Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, the long-awaited sequel to the original Mii Sim game on the 3DS. The sequel has charmed audiences with its highly customizable Mii settings and a wide variety of fun interactions between Miis, and thus has been a great success, with over 3.8 million units sold worldwide within its first 2 months. Expect Tomodachi Life Living the Dream to take a spot in the Best Sim Strategy Game category, with the potential to also get a Best Family Game nomination as well. For the last segment of the Nintendo section, we have the Super Mario Galaxy movie for Best Adaptation. Adapting one of the highest rated Mario games of all time, along with fun references to other Mario games and other Nintendo series, it did struggle a bit on the critic front. But despite those lower critic reviews, the Super Mario Galaxy movie has been a rousing success on the audience side, with it being the first film of 2026 to surpass $1 billion at the global box office. Powered by the Super Mario name, the Super Mario Galaxy movie should be able to secure the nomination for Best Adaptation. The other strong nominee for Best Adaptation is the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. There was some hesitation based on the quality of the first film, but with its self-aware comedy and explosive fight sequences, the second film has managed to become the highest rated video game film adaptation of the year so far. Mortal Kombat 2 is likely to get the nomination for Best Adaptation to be the first of the 2 expected fighting game movies on this list. Wrapping up the adaptation category, we have the Among Us TV show. The Among Us TV show shadow dropped right before Summer Game Fest, and it has been received well by fans of the game for its humor and animation. But with it fighting against a competitive year of video game adaptations, while also having a suspiciously low number of critic reviews even with its high score, it will have a tough battle ahead, but don't count it out of the race to get the nomination. And lastly, we have Pragmata, Capcom's newest father-daughter space adventure. Pragmata was well received as a new IP, with its endearing bond between lead protagonists Hugh and Diana, along with its fun dual grid shooting combat system. It has a chance to sneak into the very tough Best Action Adventure Game category, but it may need either potential delays, tied voting, or just a bit of luck to get in. That said, don't fully count out Pragmata in the other categories, as its father-daughter story could snag a Best Narrative nomination, along with a chance at Best Performance for David Menken, who portrays lead astronaut Hugh. And now, for the Game of the Year contenders. We're starting off with Mina the Hollower, the newest game from Yacht Club Games, the developers of indie game legend Shovel Knight. Mina the Hollower is an action-adventure game inspired by the likes of 2D Zelda and Souls games, and it has been well received for its fun combat and exploration. It stands as not just the current highest rated independent game of the year, but also the second highest rated overall game of the year as well, being only behind Forza Horizon 6, but surpassing other Game of the Year contenders like Pokemon Pocopia and Resident Evil Requiem. With many years having an indie slot at the Game of the Year lineup, Mina the Hollower has a strong chance of taking that slot and getting a nomination for Game of the Year. Beyond the GOTY nomination, expect Mina the Hollower to dominate the Best Independent Game category, along with a nomination for Best Action Adventure Game as well. Next up is Saros, the newest roguelike action shooter game from Housemarque, the developers of Returnal. Saros launched to strong reviews for its tight bullet hell gameplay loop, and it has become the highest rated action game of the year so far. It has managed to score higher than Returnal, which won the Best Action Game category in 2021 over Game of the Year nominee Deathloop, despite it not being a Game of the Year nominee itself that year. With the jury's affinity towards roguelike action games, and with Housemarque's award success in previous years, Saros will have a good shot at getting a Game of the Year nomination. Beyond the GOTY nomination, expect Saros to get a Best Action Game nomination with a high chance of winning the category just like Returnal. Saros also has good chances for Best Audio Design and Best Art Direction, along with Best Performance for Rahul Kohli's portrayal as the main character Arjun Devraj. Finally, we have 007 First Light, the newest James Bond game from IO Interactive. As the first James Bond game since the disappointing 007 Legends in 2012, it had a lot to make up for. But 007 First Light managed to surpass expectations with high praise for its narrative, world building, combat, and its dedication to the 007 experience. It is the highest rated 007 game since the original GoldenEye 007, and the highest rated game that IO Interactive has ever created. With the combination of IO Interactive's experience from the critically acclaimed Hitman series and the star power of James Bond, it is no surprise to see 007 First Light be a critical success and challenging for a chance at Game of the Year. Beyond the Goldie nomination, expect 007 First Light to be in many other categories, such as Best Action Adventure Game, Best Game Direction, Best Score and Music, and Best Narrative. Also expect a nomination and Best Performance for Patrick Gibson for his highly acclaimed portrayal as Mr. James Bond himself. And that's all for this quarter's nominee watch. I'll be back next time to cover the games that come out in the third quarter, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you enjoy the content, consider leaving a like as well, and if I missed a potential nominee, leave a comment and let me know. I'll see you next time on the Game Awards Nominee Watch.